the home of Billy DeTore, Tanya Mattress, Dan Carmen, Bill Horse Cotter, and me. My name's Chris Frank. At least it is today. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. But this is FC3's Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And everything is geeky if you love it enough. And that means I'm not geeky anymore. But anyway, because I don't love me anymore. Anyway, that's a thing. All right, so here we are. Let's go. Let's just do this thing before I leave.
You're not having a good day, are you?
My day was boring as shit until about an hour ago, and suddenly all hell broke loose. And it's like, oh my God, please, for the love of God, stop.
Are you changing your name and not telling your kids?
I think I just might move away too.
New Zealand's nice.
I'm going to build a tent, like in the Finger Lakes region, somewhere close to a vineyard, and just be like a grape picking hobo. Oh, man.
I think that's a movie in there.
There's a movie there somewhere. And it's so good that we brought you in to talk about movies today there, Bill.
Yep.
There's a screenplay just waiting to happen.
There it is.
A day in the life of
See, Bill's got to be laughing. Bill's got to be laughing his ass off because he's been listening to us for 3.5, 4 years, but he's actually getting an opportunity to see how the sausage is being made. Like he's seeing all the crap that goes into how we make these podcasts, and the ups and the downs and the technical difficulties and the sheer just amount of laughing that we have to do it ourselves, because there are times where it's just like, really?
Oh, that's okay. With all the technical difficulties, you and I were talking at the same exact time.
Oh, were we?
And neither one of us could hear each other.
Yeah, it was pretty funny for the rest of us to hear you talking almost the same things at the same time.
It's funny. I just started going, this is another episode of FC3 Monkey Business where we are having technical difficulties yet again.
Let's just say we sat down to start recording at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's now 7:23 p.m. And we are barely we're barely 2 minutes into the freaking episode.
By the time this airs, we may be doing it live on Wednesday morning.
You know, that's a thing.
I'm available.
And if Billy has his way, we'll finally do the naked show.
I tell you.
Hey, you can wait till we're all in the studio before we do it. Or you can do it from remotely. It's up to you.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. So, all right. So how are we doing? Let's just answer that question so that I can get my blood pressure back down to a more human level.
I am still breathing.
That is excellent. I am so happy to hear that.
Well, speaking of possibly getting back in the studio, we are now in the phase 3 of New York, and phase 4 is a couple of weeks away. So that you can do social gatherings of
I think it's gatherings of less than 25.
Yep,
yeah,
25. Yep.
And I know that my ego counts for 4 or 5, but I think there's only 3 of us or 4 of us on the actual panel, so we should be able to get together in person again soon.
I think Ann and I are getting together Wednesday night, which would be tonight after this airs, to do Comic Chicks, because she's been tested. She's completely free because she had her surgery.
Nice.
So, and I've been around her at least 10-15 times over the last 13 weeks. So
yeah, social distancing for you and Anne has not been an effective thing.
No.
Well,
we've been masked most of the time. So yeah, so I think we're going to do Comic Chicks live.
That'll be cool.
Nice.
That'll be cool.
It'll be a lot easier to open comics and things like that, and then
when you're in the same room,
won't tell me that my face looks blue on the screen. And we had echoing last time. Let's see what else went wrong. See, it wouldn't be FC3 production if something technical didn't go wrong.
Oh, I'm serious. We strive for that sort of thing. It's actually kind of part of our idiom now.
It makes it unique. It makes it interesting. Otherwise, it's be boring going straight on. You get it all done right the first time. What excitement is that?
I miss the days when all the technical difficulties were my fault.
You too?
You know, the thing is, we never had that many. I think we had that 2 times where things were just not working, and then there was one time we didn't record. But of the first 140 episodes, we had 2 that were really kind of just technically difficult. But now we're like, are you hearing me? Can you? We spend 10 minutes. Can you hear me? Can I hear you? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's okay.
That's because we're not in the same
Doctor.
room.
Doctor.
Now we got
Okay.
Comic Chicks coming back tonight on Wednesday evening, and then my new PC is supposed to be here. Was supposed to be here today, but I just got the message from FedEx saying that it's being rescheduled for tomorrow. So hopefully they hold true to that. So my new PC will be here tomorrow. So the office will be back up and running. So I should actually have some Nerd World news action coming up next week after that. Then
Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
fingers crossed.
That
And
that
and the
face-
board and I, we've been talking, and I think we might have some cool revamping to do to Nerd World News, kind of like upgrade it a little bit. Sounds like we got some ideas brewing, so that'll be fun. We'll hit the ground running on that. But you were saying, Tanya, I talked over you there.
Did we lose
Oh
Tanya?
no,
Oh,
you
no.
didn't. I was like,
I
pending
stunned her.
any, because I was listening to the rest of what you were saying, and then I lost my
Mhm.
train of thought. I got derailed for a second.
Choo,
No,
choo.
you said that you were hoping that everything will be up and running for Nerd World News with your new
My new machine.
machine, things like that. That is as long as their Facebook Live doesn't change anything yet again.
Oh, don't even start me on that. Don't even start me on that. Because I know the machine's going to have like Microsoft Edge on it, but I have to download Chrome and Firefox.
Oh, and see, is it coming in with Windows S mode?
What the hell is that?
It's safety mode, so
Oh,
therefore
safe mode.
it's safe mode, so therefore you cannot download anything unless you come through the Microsoft Store. So
I've never
you
seen
have
that
to.
before.
That's what's coming out on all the new machines. Riker's laptop happened with it. So you have to be able to disable it. I've already been Googling how to do that. because
Seriously? So I can't do anything unless I do it through.
The Microsoft Store. Because it prevents malware and viruses to come through.
It prevents you from basically getting scot-free. That's the thing. You start downloading all your
Yeah.
applications and stuff. They're like, no, it must be Microsoft approved. Here's, give us money, and that'll be a fat chance in hell of that happening.
So therefore, make sure it's not coming in S mode.
Well, that'll be. I was not even aware that was a thing until you said
Mhm.
so. So I appreciate that warning because I could just imagine.
Oh, you would have been pissed.
I could just imagine starting the computer up and seeing that and being like, "What the ever-loving, profanity." So we don't have a Spreaker button
Whiskey
anymore, do
Tango
we?
Foxtrot?
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. All right, let's get to what we were talking about. This is what we do. We ramble and then we focus. So now we're going to ramble and focus. I like that. Should be a song title. I like
Is the title of this episode Rambling and
Ramble and
Focusing?
focus. No, that's just our technique. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have our buddy Bill Horse Cotter on the line with us, master movie maker, amateur movie maker, and all points in between. So he's going to tell us a little bit about how he does what he does, and we're going to pick his brain, and we're going to talk about some projects that he's working on. We'll hint at the FC3 video he made for us a little while back, and we're just going to have some fun as we normally do. And then, Bill, you have to promise to stick around so you can join us for the question of the week in section 3.
Oh, I look forward to that.
See? That's
He
a
gets
good
to
thing.
choose the question.
He does? Oh, that's right. He's going to pick the number. He's going to pick the number that comes off of Dan's list.
I
All right.
I think you've already used 42, so I got to think up another number.
There you go. 24. I think we've done 24.
I think
too.
we've done that one too.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's take a break. When we come back, it's chat time.
Fingers crossed that this works.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome home, and thank you for joining us. This is Radio Free
Gallifrey.
Weirdos. Radio Free Gallifrey.
Where were you going with that?
I had no idea. I think that's why I stopped. That's why I paused. I'm like, wait a minute, because I had a very unfortunate word pop into my head, and I'm like, I can't use that, so I'm going to hold on to the free for until something goes in. And then Bill rescued me.
Well, actually, I think there is a podcast called that, Radio Free Gallifrey.
Probably. I mean, I can't imagine there isn't. That's an obvious one for a Doctor Who fan. All right, so Dan's here, Billy's here, Tanya's here, and so is Bill Horst Cotter, longtime friend and fan of the FC3 family. It definitely has helped out. He's been a volunteer on a couple of occasions, if I remember correctly, Bill.
Yep. Yep.
Bill has
Still
crafted
remember it.
a couple of videos for the FC3 the FC3 Facebook on a couple of occasions. And Bill, why is that, Bill? Because Bill is an amateur movie maker. Actually, I really shouldn't say amateur. You've been at it for a while. Now,
I don't get paid, so I do it
Okay,
for the
so you
love.
get
That's what amateur
for the love.
means. Yeah.
There you go. You're doing it for the love of the gig. And now I'm kind of like, I'm slightly jealous because I've seen some of the equipment that you have. And when I was much, much younger, was aspiring to be a movie maker of my own. Right. My big debut was when I was 9 years old. I discovered my dad's Super 8mm camera. So I put the 3.5 minute film cartridge in, got together a couple of buddies on the street, and we made our own version of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, because that's what you do when you're 9.
Yes.
Right. And we practiced our stop motion with Legos and stuff like that. So we all had a lot of good times with that. And I thought about it, and it's all through high school I was writing things. I just had this inkling, but I never followed through on it. And so I'm looking forward to having this chat with you, Bill, because I want to know how you got into it. What are some of the projects you've worked on? What are some of the things you're aspiring to do with it? What kind of influences have you dealt with over the years? So these are all the things I want to talk about.
All right.
So we'll start with the basics. Let's get the origin story out of the way. When was the earliest you can remember that you were like me, just kind of had a video camera and you were screwing around?
I never had a video camera. I had a tape recorder, and I screwed around with that. With blank tapes. And I always was a storyteller. I mean, I didn't have a camera, but a lot of times, you play with your toys and you make up little stories and all this other stuff. And it's kind of like that. Or you play pretend when you're a kid, and you always kind of as a guy as a boy growing up, you always picked an action movie, something like that you can do. Like it could be World War II or a sci-fi story or what, like a martial arts film, whatever,
Right.
And then it was and then I kind of just got into role-playing games, I guess. And I guess that was storytelling. And then I just got to the storytelling. I never got to the technical video part until much later when podcasting kind of came out.
Right.
So that was that part. Because some of the first podcasts I listened to, I actually watched because they put out video.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So at the same time, there's audio ones and there's these video ones. Like there's this couple out of Canada that I used to watch called Galacticast, where they make these funny stuff based on different sci-fi properties. Like they made cross Dune with Survivor.
Interesting.
So, which was very funny.
Very interesting. Now, in terms of just outright absolute just movies, have you ever really just kind of made a movie?
Well, I kind of, when I got into this, I thought of myself as television. I dabbled a little bit with video in college. There was a class I had to take where one of the things is you had to make a video and put it onto a website. Mm-hmm. I did that, and it was all right. And I dabbled a little bit in one time in high school, but I never really thought about it until I got a phone and I had a camera in my pocket,
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. I always I liked movies. I was a big movie fan and all that, but I never thought about making them until everything kind of got to a level where it was easy of access kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And then I always wanted to do a video podcast. And then that's how the Radical Geek got started. I did 4 8-episode seasons is kind of how I worked. I thought of myself as a showrunner on a TV show, something that's Discovery or PBS would have.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Because I always like I like narrative, story driven stuff. I also like, what are they? I don't want to butcher the name. Documentaries. That's what I'm trying to say.
So calling you an amateur movie maker is kind of a misnomer based on how you see yourself as you're more of kind of a documentarian. You're a showrunner, as you
but
mentioned.
I do want to go into being do more narrative stuff. I do really want to do narrative stuff. I've been writing lately. I haven't been filming a lot of stuff, but I've been writing because there's excuses like, how am I get the money to do this? Where can I find 2 ice hockey teams? Because that's one of the stories I have. Well, I mean, and once they can act.
Oh, well, there's your issue.
Yeah, there's your issue.
Just show up in Genesee, Valley Park skating rink or Lakeshore, and
Yeah.
leagues that play hockey.
Yeah, I had this short
Not
film where,
currently,
yeah,
but
yeah, my brother plays men's league hockey, so I can always go through him. But the thing is like I had this idea of are you familiar with the play Damn Yankees?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's baseball. Mine's the hockey version. And it's called 3 Periods of Hell. And the whole
when
idea,
hell freezes over.
no, 3 Periods of Hell. No, that's a subtitle. That would be the
When hell
tagline.
freezes over, isn't that an Eagles tour?
Yes, yes. What it was I just had the idea of actually it supposedly takes place in Buffalo.
Okay.
And the idea was this guy comes up to this men's league team that was like they're celebrating their league victory in the bar. And he comes up and finds out that they're a team, they're a hockey team. And he represents a barnstorming team that goes around and plays a lot of these amateur teams and that. So, and then basically he's the devil basically. And he offers them like the devil's deal, the typical thing. And they don't believe him. And then he goes, well, wait a minute. We could play the game. It might be good. I don't believe he's the devil, but the team exists and the game might actually be a good idea. So he comes up with this outrageous thing if they win. And I'm not going to say it because that would spoil the end of the film.
Right.
But
so you've been scripting that one out.
I've got a couple. I've partly been inspired by the show, The Twilight Zone, the new one and the old one. So I've been coming up with ideas.
About Twilight Zone recently. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I heard that one.
What's your opinion on that?
I like the classic. I do like the new one, especially if you ever seen the episode Blue Scorpion opening scene. There's a Rochester, New York reference.
Oh, is there really?
Oh yeah. Once you see it, you go, oh, okay. So, and even if you're not from Rochester, you kind of get it'll go over your head and it won't really matter. It doesn't make effect, but like I said, you'll know it when you see it, when you hear it. So,
gotcha.
But like I've got a couple other ones. Like some of them I've lost. I've tried doing. Like I've got 2 time travel stories. One of them is 2 scientists build a device that lets them view into time.
Okay.
As long as the machine's running. I play with that concept. The only problem is they can only see 2 days ahead, and they got to find out why.
Okay.
So, and then the whole idea is the pressure of them trying to figure out, and people hearing it, and somebody, I put in a Chicken Little situation, like the sky's falling, like they think the world's going to end, and people need to repent and all that, and it's a really more mundane thing why it stops working. Or is it? That's the idea. Is it or isn't it? Is it or isn't it? Until the end. The other one is like what happens when somebody with a midlife crisis actually asks to take a ride on somebody's time machine. Tell their younger self to correct something. Like only if I could tell my younger self not to do this or to do this. Everybody thinks that way. He gets an opportunity to do it. It's sort of like anybody remember a movie called Safety Not Guaranteed? It's based. Okay. Remember the viral little video of that ad? It was like a want ad that somebody put out that's been viral on the internet years ago about a time traveler asking for a traveling partner. And
right. Yeah.
The last line was "Safety Not Guaranteed." The movie's based on that. I kind of flipped the script where somebody wants to do it, puts in a Craigslist ad asking for to take a ride, and the guy who's built one says, "Okay, I'll give you a ride. Let's talk about this." So he goes and does that, and then things change, and hilarity ensues, and all this other stuff. I could do that. I've done a guy tries to recreate his dead girlfriend as an AI, as a computer AI,
there's
and
a movie
fails.
about that, isn't there? Isn't there? Wait. There's
Her?
a movie about that.
You mean Her?
Well, no, that's not. That's the Joaquin Phoenix with the phone thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's an episode of Black Mirror that.
I could swear there's a movie.
Black Mirror.
I can't think of who was in it.
I lost that one. I might not be rewriting that one, but I've been experimenting with AI and romance and kind of things like it.
Oh, I'm wrecking my brain now.
Don't worry about it. Don't hurt yourself.
I almost want to say it was a Keanu Reeves movie, but I'll have to look into that later. All right. So now we're just talking about concepts, but let's talk. Let's kind of circle a bit here. I want to kind of go back to the beginning a little bit and Like, what kind of hardware do you work with? How's the actual, like, the physical process? I'm not so worried about
Oh, the physical.
story and esoteric and
Okay.
content at the moment, but let's talk
Well,
about the
you
hardware behind
you need a camera,
it. Okay.
and you need a microphone,
Mm-hmm.
and you need editing software,
Okay.
and you need lighting. And sometimes you can make that up on the spot.
Now, what are you using for a camera these days?
Well, I've got a DSLR. I've very rarely used it, and before I used was a camcorder
Mm-hmm.
that has. I use a Canon camcorder. It's it's one of the more inexpensive ones you can get that allows external microphone input.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is because as good as the microphone is on there on a camera, it only works within 2 feet, very close. So having
Okay.
a second microphone and that, and I also got I got a shotgun mic, and I even got a lav mic also. So a little clip on lav mic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but over time, like I've done, and you just have to get the camera and shoot. And I've learned a lot of things like background noise. The mic picks that out. You might be able to filter that out when talking to somebody, but the camera picks it up, and you go to
Okay.
post and it has those problems. That's why they say quiet on the set.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing is, I used to do a lot of events. I would go to events and shoot people. Like I did the first Maker Faire. I
Mm-hmm.
even shot a little bit on another convention that used to be running in this town, which will go nameless.
That's fine.
And that, but I've also gone to events and I've gone to other things. I mean, I interviewed Dr. Demento one time.
Did you really? How'd you get to meet him?
He was at I went to this funny music show or concert in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
where he was one of the guests there. And a lot of the performers released songs on the Dr. Demento show. It's
Mm-hmm.
this little, and I've met these performers before at other conventions and that. And I thought, hey, Dr. D, I can do that. And that was cool. And and the thing is, you just ask people. What they're gonna do. Say no? Okay, you find somebody else.
Right.
That's what you do.
Right.
And more often, though, a lot of times, though, I found, but just the technical stuff, just shooting. And then there's like a few rules you got to learn, like the rule of threes, the rule of thirds,
Okay.
which is basically you never center the face in the image. You kind of make them like 2/3 in the frame.
Oh, okay. So like technical stuff. Gotcha.
That's the technical stuff. And the other one's the 180 rule, which is another technical one, which is basically it's all in the subject in the reference to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Where you make sure they stay within front of the camera in the frame. You don't try to change the positions of that. If the camera's one direction, you make sure that someone who comes in the frame and leaves the frame and all that and things like that, so that it's the camera. You don't do it unless you figure, well, they're not really rules. They're mostly guidelines.
Right.
So that once you figure out what those are, you can, if it works better not following that rule, then do it.
Yeah, you were channeling your inner Barbosa there for a moment. They're more like guidelines.
They're more like guidelines, yes. Yes. Parlay.
Parlay?
Yeah. And then also the other things you have to worry about is then editing. This is the next part. Like there's
and
a
what
lot
do you use for editing these days? You said you had a editing program.
Yeah, well, I use Linux. I'm a Linux user, so there's so I use a program called Kdenlive, and it's pretty good for what I need to do. I mean, like if you have Windows, you can use Windows Movie Maker. If you got Mac, you can use iMovies, and you can use those. They're they're free and they're available, and you're not looking for something for the Academy. You're probably just looking for something to throw on the internet. On YouTube and letting your friends laugh at you.
And we do. Oh, wait. Oh, well, it's only with you. We laugh with you, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. I mean, like, hey, if I got a response, I mean, if someone makes a bad comment on my film, it means at least you watched it.
Right. Seriously.
So,
now something like what you're using right now in your Linux box, would you be able to like lace in special effects of some sort? Would you be
Oh
able
yeah,
to like
you
do a
can.
CGI kind of a thing, or?
You could. You could do like rotoscoping and
Mhm.
scope stuff. I didn't never gone that deep.
Right.
There's transitions and stuff like that, and there's fade in, fade outs. There's a lot of little stuff. There's a lot of stuff you've got to really shoot, make videos, and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like people say, "Well, I don't have all the time," or just get the camera, even if it's just your phone,
Mm-hmm.
shoot it. My first two were my phone. I used the phone. They weren't great, but I learned. And then you move on to
Okay.
the next one and you figure out what you did wrong and what you did and how to fix it. Most of my stuff was sound. That's what most get. Actually, that's what gets most people with a film being bad is actually sound.
Really?
It's not
What
video.
makes it so difficult?
It's if the sound's bad, it works. It just takes people out of it.
Okay.
It just takes the viewer out of it. Like, I remember seeing a movie. There was this there's like this YouTube channel that I used to watch that they don't do anything, but there was kind of like what they would do is they'd have people on and they would show a film. And
Mhm.
usually it's a public domain film. So it's like an old black and white that
Okay.
found it. And they would do an MST3K thing about it where they make
Gotcha.
joke. Well, they actually got somebody film on there and he said he used the microphone on his camera.
Mhm.
I couldn't hear whatever. I heard there was noise.
Mhm.
I couldn't make anybody out because he made that, and just like it made the experience bad.
So what you need then is your own.
You need a shotgun mic.
You need a guy in the pink shorts,
Oh,
basically.
you don't have to do that. You can just make a stand if you can. I do a shotgun mic on top of my camera or on arm. I also have like another thing for lighting, just because a lot of times the places might be dark. I had like what they call a fill light. It's another technical term of a type of, which is just this LED panel that I put on the camera as well.
Mhm.
Slide on, put it on there, so I have something to fill.
So everything is coming right from your direction. You don't have like a set where you would have a light off to your left, a light off to the right,
I wish
something above. Stuff like
well, basically because with my documentary stuff, it was a lot of guerrilla filmmaking, running gun stuff. So you had to keep light.
Okay.
You just have to set up. I mean, like I had a cheap
Mhm.
$40 tripod, but I'm not got to be doing a lot of pan tilt movements with it. I'm gonna lock it down, so that's no problem. But like I said, I'm trying to build to deal with a crew
Mhm.
and deal with now get a crew and get actors and all this other stuff. And I'm trying. That's what I'm working towards.
Okay. How's that plan coming along so far?
It's kind of it. One thing is stopping me is funding.
Mhm. Well, yeah,
It's
that's
always the thing. That's
universal.
That's universal.
None of us have unfortunately won the lottery yet.
No. And I don't need much, but it's just that. And the other part is, well, I can't do anything now with the virus. Nobody's making films right now.
Mhm.
But I mean, there's certain things you can do that are really like low entry stuff. Like after the Radical Geek, the next thing I did was I did Out of the Box, which was a unboxing videos. I stopped doing them because they were me and unboxing stuff and showing technical stuff, like or building or doing a tech project or something like that. And I was bored because it was just me and nobody to talk with. When I was doing the Radical Geek, I was talking to somebody. I was interviewing somebody, showing something.
Gotcha.
That was very. I like that exchange. So, but like I said, if you want, I mean, like I can talk about all the technicalities of this stuff, but there's resources online you can go to that are much better than I am, that have been doing it a lot longer, that I watch online.
Can you think of a couple of those resources
I
off the top of your head?
Yeah, I can give you two that are really good. One's Film Riot.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is Indie Mogul. And Indie Mogul.
Okay. Film Riot.
Yeah, those are two. They're actually set up to help. They're designed to actually help the guy like me, the gal like me, to shoot. You want to shoot. This is what you can do. If you want to create this kind of effect you see in the movie, here's what you do about it. I mean, they did one where they had, I think, the guy's brother in there, and they filmed a sequence of him jumping off a off the roof of the house and
Mhm.
landing, and he didn't actually jump. And they show you how they did it, or stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. They show you how to make fake blood. I mean, whatever you want.
When you watch a movie, do you spend at least an equal amount of time, like just
Dissecting
observing
it?
how they, like dissecting the movie rather than just getting involved in the story?
A little bit, but I try not to, because because I want to enjoy the film. And if the less I can think of, the more to me, a good film, like anybody, is like, if you can give me an escape, like everybody, it works. Like Knives, there's movies out there like Knives Out. It was good. That was good. That was good. But I do like, but one thing is, like, if I want to go back to making a film, I won't do it as a theater, but I might do it at home watching a movie. I will put in Clerks.
Mm-hmm.
That's because that was Kevin Smith's first film.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look at that saying as like, he didn't have a lot, and he used what he had, and he made a film. And that is inspiring to know that this is what he did. And he made several other films in his own little skewiverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has. My God. And now, did the reboot, Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob reboot, did that come out yet?
Yeah, that was out.
But he toured with it. It didn't go nationwide. He would go from city to city with it. Mm-hmm. And screen it in front of crowds, and then the movie would stay in that city. And they also did a couple Fathom events with it.
Yeah, I saw as a Fathom event. Because he wasn't coming to this at Rochester or Buffalo or anything like that.
And it set some sort of record, like a weird record, but like the most money made per screen. Like, because wherever he went, it would sell. He would do a Q&A after the film, and like it would sell for a decent amount of money, the tickets, and it made its money back. And he did 100 cities or something, Bill?
I think it was 35.
But like 100 shows overall.
Yeah. I think the actual tour was like 35, because I just was listening to a video with him on it that came out through Rooster Teeth did, and they were talking to him about it. And it was like, he said, he's talking about like the tour. Like, I went to 35 cities to show the film, every city. It's like, and he talked about it, and it was pretty neat.
He's like the inspiration for a lot of movie makers who want to be able to do it on a budget.
Correct. Right. I mean, the other one is like, there's this video that some kids did back in the 80s, because they did a shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I'd heard about that. I didn't see it yet, but I have heard about that.
I haven't seen it either. I heard about it in a documentary about VHS. Okay. And how, like, one of the things, like, people would take video cameras and kids would make films out of it, So I love, like I said, the reason I like films is because there's storytelling, and even if it's a documentary. Like, I did an my last video I just put up because I was bored and haven't been doing anything lately with it. I made a little film about this everyday carry kit I have and what I put into it, with links of where you can get the stuff I put in there.
Such as, what do you got in there?
I got, I have breath strips, lip balm, a little small multi-tool that instead of being a pliers, it folds out to be a little pair of scissors.
Okay.
And a cigarette lighter, and money, and some USB-C adapters, and a mini little button compass and stuff like that. Lock picks, you never know what you need.
Yeah, well, every good filmmaker needs a go bag, like they're in Mission Impossible team.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like, if for someone who's listening to this and wants to do stuff, there is ways to do do quick, easy entry stuff, ease of entry quickly. Like, there's a few ways to do it. One is a vlog. Have a webcam, put it up, and have a vlog. If you, and the only hard part is just keeping interesting and talking about something. You know, the other one is, and the sense of that you can do guys who go on to Twitch streaming. That's a pretty easy entry to it either. Also, that's easy. Film, boom. You're just sitting there on your computer streaming on overline. One with yourself, one with talking about the film, cracking a few jokes, getting ready, stuff like that. You know, that stuff. And then, you know, there's like how you can do, like, you can step up and do how-to videos, stuff like that.
Okay.
Unboxing videos, things like that. You know, that tutorial videos and stuff like that. That's pretty easy entry. If you know that. And then you get into the harder stuff that people do where then you can do roundtable stuff. I've seen people do roundtable stuff where, you know, it's kind of like a talk show kind of format where you're the host, you have a guest. Kind of like a podcast.
Thank you.
Where you have like video, but you also have people with their webcams talking.
Okay. Kind of like what we do.
Kind of like what you do, but you can. They don't have faces for radio like we do. I mean, we have faces for radio, you know.
Speak for yourself, Sunshine. Tanya's a pretty attractive young lady, and I think Billy's more handsome than I am.
Yeah, but I've had the face for radio for a long time.
Yeah, and the voice for radio.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, did you hear about the guy that made a movie over Zoom with like 5 friends? It was like a horror movie. They rented out a theater in Long Island. And it was the #1 movie last week because no other theaters were open.
Yeah, that would be interesting because like the thing about I can see how that could work because you're dealing
with 29-minute horror flick Unsubscribe.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
shot at no cost and on Zoom.
Yeah, because you can do a lot of stuff with. One thing about horror movies is that I like is the stuff you don't see. But you hint at. It's like you sound instead of visual, like, what? That's why Alien was so good. That's why Jaws is scary. You never saw the shark. You never saw the alien.
Right. I mean, it's more of a hint than anything else. It's the anticipation rather than the actual there's coming out and whooping you over the head with it.
There's another one I had called I saw Willow Creek, which dealt with Bigfoot. And you never saw Bigfoot. You saw the effects after what you heard. I mean, I looked over my shoulder in the theater when I saw this. That's when I heard the voice. Yeah, that's how. And I was with a girlfriend at the time who liked horror movies, hated it. I liked it because it got in my head.
Okay.
That's the stuff I like. But, you know, like I can see how that works because you have the camera and then they look over, something's happening and then you wonder what they're looking at kind of thing. And that I can see works. And that's probably what they went with.
Gotcha.
But like I said, you have to, there's certain things you can do. Like you can do, well, hopefully when the virus dies down, we can start doing more stuff with people and doing these film stuff.
Being all together again.
I mean, another one you can do is when more parks are open in that, like one of the earliest things that people used to do back in like the late 80s and early 90s when it was VHS was someone would take their camera and film their friends skateboarding, you know, and then made skateboarding videos. And now people do that online, skateboarding videos
it's amazing what you can do with an iPhone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, just with like the TikTok
stuff
and like the start, stop and then doing and editing all together and doing the like wiping the mirror, whatever. And
those are fun videos. It's interesting to see people's Hey, here's the thing: is until recently I managed to avoid TikTok, right? But now my son has been sending me videos, and my bouncing brother in spirit, who is our director, producer, and president over here, he's been sending me videos too. And I just downloaded the app and said, "That's it, I'm in." And I have been in that damn trap, right? I can go for like an hour and a half just cycling through these freaking videos, and it's like, you gotta be kidding me. I look up at the clock and go, what, really? And
I've thought about doing it.
What people can pack into 60 seconds. Because that's the maximum you can do with a TikTok, isn't it? It's like 60 seconds and that's it.
I don't know. I haven't used it. I gotta try. Soon I'm going to get into that hole myself.
Yeah.
I might do something with it.
my account has 3 followers, and I'm like, I haven't made a single video. I'm just here to. I'm making. Who are you? What are you doing? I want to make a video going. What are you 3 doing? Why are you following me?
Yep.
So that's it. That's the future of it. Then we talked about at the top of the.
Everybody will have their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, we talked about the top of the segment. I had a Super 8 movie camera with 3.5-minute cartridges in it, and I think I know where that reel is. To this day, I think I know where that is, and one of these days I might take it to one of those guys that recovers things. So my Star Spectacular remake of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes can see the light of day again. That'd be amazing. All right, so we've wandered around. We've talked about a lot of different things at the moment. What have we missed? Is there something that we have not talked about that you'd love to be able to just touch on real quick?
I would love to do is I don't know. I would like to, you know what? I might do this. I would love to be a extra in a film. Okay. I would love to be an extra in a film. If someone else is doing it, or I'm trying to do, there's this filmmaker group I'm part of, and I've been trying to do, since I have limited experience with some of the stuff, I'm trying to volunteer for their stuff as soon as they start shooting stuff. Because there's these couple guys who want to do a movie about murderous clowns.
It sounds like it's been done before.
These are actually people dressing up as clowns and being, and it's a horror movie about killer clowns, and not killer clowns from outer space or anything like that. But maybe it probably has, but everybody has their own spin on stuff. Not good.
Called The Joker.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a hell of a movie.
And the Joker is actually based off a silent movie.
Right.
Yeah, the clown who cried.
The Man Who Smiles. I thought it was the man who always.
Yeah.
I
think the clown that cried was the
right.
Jerry Lewis movie.
Okay, and like I said, but then again, nobody's truly original. Like they say, good authors borrow, great authors steal.
Exactly.
So just because your idea is not the most, always going to be original, there's just enough original enough that you're not copying things. Because you can only, someone's done this idea, but it's broad enough that you can do your own version of this also. So, don't be discouraged. The only thing I would just warn people is just be careful with certain things like music or something that you don't own.
Right, because you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for a lawsuit.
Correct.
Essentially.
And don't do anything that potentially has anything Disney related.
Yeah, don't do a fan film.
Don't do fan films. Star Trek is kind of been locked down as of late, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, a lot of the fan films when they first came out were Star Wars. And you don't see a lot of that anymore. You don't see, and I don't mind people. I know you love your fandom, you want to do it, but just don't get on the wrong side of that. So, but what you can do, like I said, you want to make make a time travel story. Oh, well, you're inspired by Doctor Who. Be inspired by Doctor Who. Be inspired by H.G. Wells. Let me run an idea past you. Let me run an idea past you. Say there's a story where there's 2 friends, because you get your whole Bill and Ted experience, yes,
right? And one of them in the early days of the internet managed to find what he thought were great modifications that you could make to a diesel Volkswagen Rabbit.
Okay. Okay.
And
hey, wait a second. This sounds awfully familiar.
I'm digging it. And your elevator pitch.
And so the car runs a hell of a lot better now. But he's discovered that what used to be a very small trunk is now very capacious. There's a lot of room in it, and he was able to just put a lot of stuff in it until he ran out of room, until he ran out of stuff. Basically, and then suddenly they discover that this rabbit can actually travel in time. It's very strange how that works.
Yeah.
Hey, in the one story I had with the time traveler, that the guy goes in the past to tell his younger self not to do something. The actual time machine, the door of it is a shower door that would go.
Nice.
It was on because the guy is pulling junk together. So that was one of the things I go, what should I have as a door? Shower door. And
this was the ill-fated Dude Taped 24 that we did such a lot of, but then we lost our steam. We just had something happen and we were just like, but Dan and I were working on that several years ago. It was going to be an audio play. It was a lot of fun. We were having a good time putting that together.
Several decades ago.
Several decades ago at this point, yeah. Well, what? Were we in college or was it just after college?
I think it was just after around college time.
Around college time when it happened?
Yeah.
So you're looking at about 30 years ago.
Yeah, early to mid-90s. Yikes.
Yeah.
On that note,
several years ago.
The things that could have been.
Yeah, well.
So it's a combination of gear.
Yes.
Study, because you want to learn the craft. It's not just action and hope for the best.
Well, a lot of times it's just some of your first films are experiments. Even if it's just a home, if you don't plan, if all it is you just plan on trying something, try it. Find out what you do right. Find out what you did wrong. Though, be careful with action stuff. Be careful with things like that. But yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of people making bad stuff.
Yeah,
and they're doing it with a passion, though.
Yeah,
and that's not wrong.
That's
go and do it.
Go and do. Go and do. Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
So,
yeah,
that's great.
So you don't
now.
Yeah,
one last question. One last question. Just as a technical question, you had said DSLR. That's digital single lens reflex.
That's what it means.
I guess so.
I don't know what that meant.
Camera.
Yeah.
Well, I studied photography when I was in high school, so I know
that's what that means. Yes, that's what it means. Yes.
Okay, so digital. And what kind of camera do you have right now, Bill?
I've got a used Canon Rebel. It was EOS Rebel 3 Ti, and it's just you can find a decent used camera. You don't have to buy new. I even got a used zoom lens for it as well.
If you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for all that?
It was a couple $100.
Okay.
It's hundreds of dollars, it's hundreds of dollars for it. You don't have to spend thousands and tens of thousands anymore.
Right. It is, and that's another thing. And I think that's why stuff like YouTube and TikTok has gotten so huge, is that the technology is very accessible to the everyday person.
Yes.
There recently over the winter, there was a commercial where a guy created the whole commercial, this whole snowball fight about the young girl. He did it all on an iPhone, which I'm highly suspect, because there was definitely some production value in there. So I wonder where what else was involved, but apparently most of it was done with an iPhone, and that's impressive, right? So everybody has that power to become an amateur movie maker right there in their hands these days.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, iMovie is a really good thing to use. That's the Apple product that you can use on your iPhones. iMovie, things like,
Oh yeah.
So,
like I said, we've
used it at school.
I mean, I know this guy in a documentary I saw that makes monster movies. He's been doing the 90s, and he's telling people, well, I don't need anything to do this, and I don't need, he just tells people, get your camera, put a tape in it, and just shoot something. That's it. Go. Just shoot it.
So Dan, here's the next stage. The next phase in my project is the beginning of the Mighty Monkey Movie House.
Ask me if you want. Hey, if you need help, I'm willing to help.
That sounds good. I think you're in, man. I think we've always talked about it. I know, one of our earlier volunteers too, she was on the podcast for a while, Dolly.
Oh yeah.
She's got her degree in cinematography, and I love talking to her about movies.
I think she did a project. She also filmed something back out west. She did. I think it was in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Vegas, but I'll have to talk to her again. She just had a baby recently.
Yeah, that's why. Which is why we can't help right now. Yeah,
he's a little stinker.
Yeah, she's busy with the kids, so she won't be able to help, though. So we have to find somebody else. But who knows? Later, maybe down the road.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, she can help. I will hold that baby.
Okay.
Tanya's got baby fever.
I not a problem.
Have baby, will Tanya. All right, that's cool. Well, Bill, I thank you for sharing your time with us today, man.
Oh,
That was
it's
awesome.
great.
And
Anytime
as
you
can
want me
tell,
on, bring me on.
And with this kind of a topic, you can tell it's just we're just scratching the surface.
Oh yeah, there's a
Just
lot of stuff.
scratching
There's
it.
a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. So out there, listeners, go ahead and tell us what you think. Tell us what attracts your attention, what ideas you may have, and or any questions that we did not answer. If during the course of the conversation, you're thinking, "Oh, I wonder if they'll talk about this." If we didn't, question us, and we will answer that question. So again, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have a question of the week.
Can't wait.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We've had an enlightening 40 minutes with Bill Horse Cotter. Thank you for joining us again, Bill. It was great to chat with you, man.
No problem. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Now, what we're going to do is I think we should just go ahead and jump right into it. Let's do that thing that we love to do at this point in the time. So, Dan, do you have your mystical, magical, mighty list of questions?
It's a list, anyways. I don't know about mystical and magical, but a number between 1 and 315.
Maxwell Smart 86.
Ooh, I like the logic behind that too.
I always preferred 99.
Well, I agree.
All right, number 86.
Uh-huh.
What was the best invention of the last 50 years?
Oh, jeez.
1970 to now.
Okay. From 1970 to 2020, what's the best invention?
The internet.
Well, you know what the internet's for.
Yeah, of course.
Adult content.
Yes.
The internet is for
porn.
porn.
Yes.
The internet is for
Stream.
Stream, don't download. Okay, the internet is a damn good answer. Very good answer. Billy, what do you think?
Oh, mine was similar, but I was just looking at my Kindle and how much I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I listen to music, podcasts, I watch movies, I got the internet. So I want to say the Amazon Kindle, or whatever your version of, whether it's the iPhone or whatever.
So
but I got books and
in essence, let's just put it right out there in the heading of smart devices.
Yeah.
So your phones, your Galaxies, your iPhones.
I was reading a Superman comic on my Kindle just before we were recording. So
very cool. All right, so the internet and a device that reads the internet.
Yeah.
Dan, how about you? What do you think?
I'm trying to think there, because so much falls under technology.
Right.
So I'm just looking up online, but started like 65 years ago. But
Stop
let's get up to.
Is the first one popularmechanics.com?
Yes.
Is the next one 15 influential innovations of the past 50 years?
Gee, I wonder what Tanya and Dan are doing.
We are on two different rooms.
Let's see. The supercomputer, 1976. The Cray 1.
Actually, I got another answer.
The
Ben and Jerry's
computer.
ice cream.
Ben and Jerry's ice cream is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
but that'd be.
And you're in my head because now I have to think of something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Food and technology. What else is there?
I'm telling you. All right, so the Cray supercomputer, smart devices, the internet. How about you, Tanya Fabulous? What do you got?
Since that route was already being taken, I was jumping over to modern medicine with the difference in with the DNA testing and the sequencing, so you can figure out your ancestry. In regards, then there's also the medicine that are the laparoscopy surgeries, things like that. LASIK surgery for
your eyesight.
Your eyesight. I mean, I had that done about 16 years ago. And it was like the best thing that I had ever done. It was well worth the $3,000 that it cost us to do it.
And how long ago did you do that now?
16 years.
Okay, and I know, Dan, you've had that procedure done as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was around, I can't remember when, 16, it was at least that long ago, maybe a little bit longer.
Tyler, it was over a February break. Tyler had to have been in like kindergarten, first grade, or so, something like that. And he's 21 now, so I'm like, I think he was like 6, 7, something like that.
And think of what the advances they've had in those 16 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still like now. I have to wear the cheater reading glasses, depending on how tired my eyes are with really small print. But other than that, I mean, I wore contacts since I was 13 up until this, and I had such an astigmatism that I could not get the less expensive contact lenses like the daily wears that a lot of people can wear. My contacts were $300 a pair. It was like wearing and it was for one pair.
Wow.
And I would have one pair a year. And they were I can't remember. There were Wesley Jessens was the manufacturer. They were weighted on the bottom so they would stay upright, things like that. But so with my LASIK eye surgery, it was the value of 10 years worth of contacts. So that's and I'm like, I had it done. My sister-in-law and brother-in-laws had it done. My husband had it done. So
see, if we were playing Family Feud, I'd be going, good answer, good answer.
Good answer,
Martin Medicine is a great answer.
So just medicine.
So medicine and internet devices and computing. So definitely communication and medicine. And then I guess that's me to round it off. And I was going to say Ben and Jerry's ice cream for the fun of it, but now we're playing it serious and closer to the, to advancing humankind. I'm going to say commercial space flight.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Especially what just happened recently there. Yeah,
exactly. The invention of the Falcon 9 and the Dragon crew capsule. I mean, I think that just shows what we are capable of when we set aside the things that make us different and embrace what we all can contribute together as a team. I think that just symbolizes it. And while Elon Musk, say what you want about the guy, he's obviously a sociopath he's one Happy Meal away from being a Bond villain, right? At any given moment in time. I mean, he even has the henchmen in jumpsuits, and they were numbered. You could see that during the launch of the crew, So he's there. But, say what you want, but the guy's made this happen. He has made this thing.
He backed it. He supported it. So you got to give him props for that.
Absolutely. So he may be out of his bleeding mind, but he's doing it wonderfully. So cheers to him, and look at that thing go. And I was wrong, because I know we talked about the capsule being up there, and I thought it was just going to be basically like a week-long test flight. But those two astronauts, Bob and Doug took off. Hey,
take off.
They're going to be up there for a few more weeks. Actually, I think they're like doing a full space station.
Yeah, it was 6 to 12 weeks or something like that. It was supposed to be.
They're going to be up there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really going to expose that Crew Dragon. The Endeavor is what they've named it. It's going to expose it to space. It's going to really kind of work it out. I know they're doing some, making sure that it's been holding together. It's keeping its systems together and whatnot. And then they're going to ride that puppy home. And I'm really excited to see when it happens.
Talk about quarantine.
Oh, I seriously. Yeah. Hopefully everything is all done by the time they get back. Although I've seen the meme on several occasions and I completely echo it. This is the perfect time for everybody who works for SpaceX to get gorilla outfits.
Yeah. And learn how to ride horses.
And just as soon as they bring them aboard the recovery ship, they just see nothing but, Planet of the Apes going on. That would be perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. So... All right, so we're good there, and dear listeners, as always, if you have something to contribute, if there's an invention in the past 50 years, and do not say disco, or I will shadow ban your asses for weeks on end. If you have an invention or something that popped in your head, something you wanted to talk about, add that to the thread. Let us know.
I have one to add.
So do I when Tanya's done.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Amazon.
Amazon's not so much an invention; it's more of a product.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean,
no, online shopping is more. E-commerce is was talking about an invention.
Could you imagine what Tanya's bank account would look like if online shopping did not exist?
Wow.
She could
Most
retire.
of us would
Actually have to go to the mall.
I'd actually just be out shopping.
All the time, yeah, that's a thing.
And running up credit cards.
I used to be one of those power shoppers on like a Saturday with my mom that we would be gone from like 10 o'clock in the morning to like 6, 7 o'clock at night. In and out of every store. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's just changed the face of everything, online shopping in general.
I just don't have the stamina to do that anymore. Shut up, Christopher.
I'm
not saying a thing. And how about you, Billy? You said you had one more thought to throw
in. And it just popped in my head, and I looked up the timing of this, and given the heat of the last few days, central air conditioning came into prominence in the 70s.
Okay. That's a good call there, yeah.
Being hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to add...
Yeah, it's not fun.
The other thing I'm going to add, since we can't do disco, I'm going to do new wave and say the keytar.
Oh, jeez.
On that note, this has been another episode of Monkey Business.
On that happy and pious note, here we go. We're on our way. So, Dan, punch it. Because this has been FC3's Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con, of also the Comic Chicks and Nerd World News, coming at you in 3D sooner or later, one of these days. That would be awesome. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week, have a safe week, and we will see you again next week.
Dun dun.
Done.